What's up, everybody? It's Jason.
And Jake.
And we're here to talk to you about virtue ethics. Now, Jake, you might say, what's virtue ethics?
Well, I don't even know what they are.
And here, that's what I'm for. So virtue ethics is the system developed by Aristotle way back in the who knows when.
That's so interesting.
And he said that to be an ethical person, to be a good person, you would have to do the right thing at the right time in the right way. Which, of course, is very vague. And he had outlined some ideas like bravery or selflessness or making sure you're passionate, maybe loving, things like this. And essentially he wanted to find people in our society who we praise for having these excellent virtues. So someone like, say, a Martin Luther King would be a virtuous person, right? They were selfless, they were brave, they fought for the rights of others. That's someone that we can identify as a virtuous person. And the whole idea was that that person would also do this in a medium sort of way, what he called the doctrine of means. So rather than someone who is brave all the time, say someone jumping off of cliffs just to prove their bravery at all times, or someone who gets really hot-headed whenever they hear like a minor injustice and they go running out to go stop it at no cost, or at every cost, he wanted to find people who could find that happy medium where they were brave enough to get things done, but not so brave that they interrupt doing other things, and not, of course, a coward who doesn't do anything. So Jake, who do you think is virtuous?
If I had to say, Jason, I would say Captain America is virtuous. As you can see from this clip.
When you brought a 90-pound asthmatic onto my army base, I let it slide. I thought, what the hell, maybe it'd be useful to you, like a gerbil. Look at that. He's making me cry. Hodge passed every test we gave him. He's big, he's fast, he obeys orders, he's a soldier.
He's a bully.
You don't win wars with niceness, Doctor. You win wars with guts. Grenade! Go, go, go! Get away! Get back!
The dummy grenade.
Is this a test?
He's still skinny.
So as you can see from this scene, we see that Captain America, even though he didn't have his powers and he wasn't big and strong, he still displayed these ethics. Like, he's very brave and he's very selfless. And even though like all the other Marines were able to like kind of run away and just kind of think about themselves, the smallest guy in the group that had nothing expected of him was able to kind of like rise above himself and try to protect everybody else. And we also see when he becomes Captain America, when he becomes really strong and big, he still displays these ethics, like in the Thanos scene, if you want to describe that.
So in Infinity Gauntlet, which is one of the famous comic book events of the 80s, Thanos, this eventually superpowered alien, decides that he will, in order to court death in a romantic way, take on this gauntlet that has the ability to essentially control the universe in all of its aspects. And at one point kills about billions of life forms all over the universe. So a bunch of the Marvel superheroes get together and say, we need to stop him, and they go out and they attack him. Over the length of several books here, most of these heroes die in one way or another. Thor has his head frozen, Iron Man's destroyed, things like that. And at one point, the two people, Silver Surfer and Adam Warlock, decide, hey, we have a plan, but we need someone to distract Thanos so we can grab the gauntlet. And without any questions, Captain America simply walks right up to Thanos, who he's just watched slaughter dozens of his friends, and engages him in a conversation to distract him, and then actually tries to fight him, and almost dies in the process. He actually has his shield destroyed, and Thanos makes the ground come up and grab his ankles and is about to attack.
So as we can see from these sorts of like clips and even like the comic strip, there's like a big, like there's no really big change from when he gets his powers, like compared to before that. So we see that even though he like technically he should change, like in some way you'd think like a man who would get all these powers would like either be more like selfish or like kind of take it into his own hands like to get what he wants. He just is completely selfless. He thinks about everybody else. He's still brave, like as we've seen in the Thanos scene. He kind of remains like kind of ultimate kind of example of virtue ethics, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to find someone else who is, like you said, just completely devoted to the people around him. He takes nothing for himself. I mean, even in something like The Winter Soldier, when he's on the run, he's being hunted down, he's got people aiming at him. He knows that he can easily come out and get help from the American people who love him. There's a museum in his honor and everything like that. But he knows that that would put them at risk, and so instead, he and Black Widow, of course, go out essentially on their own to take down these great forces trying to stop them and destroy the world.
And that's why Captain America is the best superhero and a great example of virtue ethics.